Just because I know people that are watching this are dying to know, what was the Genesis the Genesis Robotics product? What was the idea that we together spun out of Advanced and put into robotics?
Yeah, so I'll back up to go forward on that one. So basically, Advanced has multiple opportunities with patents and prototypes that were there, and that was the confusing part. That's probably why it took me a little longer to sort it out. James just has this unbelievable ability to see a problem and just quiet his mind and go to a place that most people can't and find a solution. And it's much bigger than that in definition, but it gets you the point. And so sorting it out, we one day came to this place where we had to just fish or cut bait. We needed to say, we're going all in on one thing instead of moving everything forward. What is it going to be? And we decided that the Live Drive, which is basically a direct drive motor, which is 3 times the torque to weight of any other motor, it was to create a motor without gears that would allow the robotic dance to be dead forever, except for people who wanted to do it. In other words, gears are what make the jerky motion inside the robotic actuation. And we wanted to get rid of gears. We wanted to create a powerful enough motor that would allow the gears to be gone, which would create a faster, safer, and we really focus on lower cost.
So this idea for a next generation robotics actuator that would eliminate the gears certainly got me excited. But as you say, it wasn't easy. And James has this ability to think differently. And he tackled a problem that's very fundamental. I mean, there's been actuators for 100 years, motors really for 100 years, but none that looked and operated like the Live Drive, which was very exciting. Mm-hmm. You mentioned, though, that it wasn't an inexpensive endeavor either. And $28 million is a pretty big amount to raise for a Canadian startup. Mm. Can you share just a little bit about how you were able to pull that much capital together? I know some of it came from you. You put the very first money in because you believed in what James was doing in Advanced, but how did you pull together that $28 million of capital?
It was basically when you needed it, you talked to some friends. I mean, it sounds silly, and I remember you mentioning to me that I had done well because I was able to do this. But for me, it's kind of one of those things where when you believe in something and you know it's beyond you and bigger than you, and you're part of something, which is what I felt, that I just had to put it in front of the right people, and they'd believe. So fortunately for me, I might have presented to 6 people, and 3 of them said yes. We were very fortunate to have one Canadian who probably put in 3/4 of the money, and then 2 Americans. That we told the story. They came and met. They came and looked around. We processed. And they said, well, we're going to jump in. So we're very fortunate. It came in over 3 tranches over the period of time, and you only take money in as you need it so that you don't dilute yourself. I had to be careful that I didn't take in too much money too fast and dilute myself too far, so it meant that I had to go back and do different asks along that journey. But fortunately, we were able to keep control of the company, which was our priority, so that we didn't get taken advantage of. Not that these guys would, but that we could stay in the seat and finish it across the line and make sure that James was looked after and then go on to do what Advanced wants to do.
I think you're being kind of modest with that accomplishment. I've been involved in, I think, 100 angel financings, and I was very impressed with what you accomplished in that financing. You guys did retain control, which was I know it was important to you and James, but your investors also did very well in this. Do you think you can share with the people that are watching what the valuation was on that angel rounds? I
can't because of our partner. You mean in the full capitalization that we did?
Yeah, we're just thinking, what was the pricing on the last round?
When we did the raise, you mean?
Yes.
Not when we had the company come in.
The raise.
I'm sorry. Yeah, $100 million was. The majority of the money was raised on $100 million valuation. We started at about 33, went to 66, something like that, and then to 100.
That was one of the things that impressed me. I've been an angel for a long time, and you don't see very many early stage, really startups.
You mean no revenue companies that are saying it's worth this much? Yeah. I guess at times you look back and go, did I really get it? Yeah, but I believed, and the reason I believed because I was there every minute of the day, and because I was working alongside these brilliant engineers who were seeing and were getting the provisionals, and it was all lining up, and it was a ton of hard work. So it wasn't easy by any stretch. But yeah, you had to really look the man in the eye and say, no, I'm convinced this is going to happen. So I think I'm fortunate I had other businesses that had proved out in my partnerships that I had never messed with somebody. I'd always honored them and respected them and respect the investor, because that's a key part of this. If you don't respect the investor, life will bite you back, and it should. So I think they sensed that I was never in the business for taking advantage of them. Us staying in control was so that we could keep James's destiny on track, not so we could have more money and be in control. And in fact, we worked it out so that we could offer them a actual return that would favor them before us at the beginning, to show them, like, this isn't about the money. This is about you getting your capital back with a great return, and then hopefully, if we can find a company, to stay with them as they fully matured it to an unbelievable place. And by God's grace, quite honestly, it really did come together.
Well, I know you can't talk about the actual sale price in hard numbers, but I do know, and I saw it myself firsthand, your investors had a very big smile on their faces when everything was completed. Mm-hmm. And it didn't take that long. I mean, the bulk of that money came in about a year before the transaction. That's when really things had ramped up. So, one of the things that you did that I think I wish more entrepreneurs did is you started the exit process when the product was still in R&D, early R&D. And
it's called good advice, though. Again, that's back to you, because you said, Michael, you got to work on this exit now as you're actually doing your patents, because they have to line up over that time period. And that's, again, Kylene gets some credit here, because if I hadn't gone to the conference, I wouldn't have known, because you wouldn't have told me that, and so on. So you're right. We needed to be working on that for that time period, or we would have been cart before horse or horse before cart. It would have not aligned up.
And one of the other things that was fun for me, as really, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, I can't help it.
I know that.
I came in when this hadn't even been incorporated, and I remember having conversations with you.
Why did you come in? You should have never bought into this idea, man. It was
hard not to.
A dream and a fume at that time, I think, yeah.